So today we are talking on visibility, volatility to visibility, and different risks in supply chain. So if you see that now in its current scenario, the risk identification is changing. So previously, what we were referring to is the materiality of the losses in a company are to be reported to the stock exchanges. So that is now coming in the medium security. So the long-term security is taking a place of high risk. In common parlance, normally what was being declared to stock exchanges was considered as a high risk, and that is why it was required to be reported to the stock exchanges. So, if we want to see what are the global risks, we can have four parlances. One is geopolitical, pandemic, disastrous and infrastructure failures, and financial cybersecurity. So these are few events which have been causing trouble. This is a lead indicator. This article came in Economic Times on 19th February, and 28th of February the war started. So we see a lot of such articles on global movements, and probably we don't give sufficient weightage to these articles. So at Apcotex, what we did is, based on this, we have shifted some of our purchases. Particularly, we are purchasing styrene monomer, which was 100% coming through the Strait of Hormuz. And styrene is basically supplied to India from Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, which were both inside the Strait of Hormuz. And we quickly changed it to China, Korea, Singapore sometimes, and we'll go ahead with that. So what is the current status? Current status is there are a lot of tariff shifts. So before the war, when that article came, that time there was a AI summit, global AI summit going on, and everybody was gathering together, and that is when these things were happening. So trade wars are not only between, it was not actually started by US. Before US, the trade war was going on between China and Korea. They were putting anti-dumping duties on each other, and then the trade flows were getting disturbed altogether. So the investments in infrastructure is giving them an edge in such times. Then the vulnerability of unknown. Nowadays, you don't know, you can't make up your mind what is going to come. So how do you deal with that? So basically, all of your processes have to be so strong enough that the moment there is a problem creeping up, you have to adjust yourself. So adaptability is more important, and the risk mitigation. And when you want to change the processes, your process control comes from your data management and data analytics. The real-time data which you have, that gives you a major advantage. From current status, we will go to the future expectations. So what is it? There are so many items. The major is real-time data. So when you have the real-time data, now we have been hearing about AI, blockchain, and different technologies, even ChatGPT, and there are so many softwares which can help you in making, right from drafting your letters to making presentations and videos and self-images and everything. You get everything on the net. But I still call computer as a idiot box, because it can't think of its own. You have to give it a proper prompt. Unless your prompt is correct, the AI will not give you what you want. So that identification of what to ask is very important. Even if you go to ChatGPT and simply type a letter saying so and so, it will give normal letter. Then you can tell ChatGPT that, okay, I want it in a professional tone, I want it in a casual tone, I want a harsh tool. Accordingly, ChatGPT keeps on revising the draft. So what prompt you give is very important. And then there are some operational blind spots. So like I said, for styrene monomer, we had quickly shifted from Strait of Hormuz to China and Korea. So that is very important because the lead indicators will give you an idea before actually the problem happens, or probably the problem has started and it is taking a monstrous, it's blown up in a monstrous way, and once it has blown up, then everybody is running around to fetch the material from alternate sources. So by that time, if you are getting your contracts or confirming your contracts or getting the alternate sources and giving up your inventories, then it will give you a great advantage. Then invest in visibility and agility. This part is very important because on 19th February I came to know that, okay, US-Iran conflict is going to start. What do I do with it? Now at that time, it is not sure that whether it will happen, it will not happen. So there are two scenarios, again based on which I have to adjust my procurement, my sales, my inventories, my production planning, everything I have to adjust. And at a very short notice. So this part is very important because lead indicators will give you only idea what can happen. It will not say this will happen. So you have to be prepared for making those changes. So your adaptability going from one part to the other, quickly changing, is very important. So what we immediately did is our about 30% of exports was through the Strait of Hormuz, going inside the UAE, Saudi Arabia, those countries. So we quickly shifted that, reduced the export order booking, and we quickly shifted to domestic order booking. Even sometimes at cost, but we reduced that because when the war started, immediately everything stopped. And our competitors had to shut down their plant because there was no knowledge available in their storage tanks. We are into liquid chemicals, so once the storage tanks are full, you have to stop the plant. You don't have any choices. So we could do that because of shifting from export orders to domestic orders. Similarly, for styrene, I already told you we shifted from Strait of Hormuz like Kuwait and Saudi Arabia to China and Korea. So this part, when you take actions in advance, this will help your company. So you have to invest in that visibility and agility. Now, if US is bringing naval and air capacities, war capacities near to Iran, what does it mean? You put it in ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot and start finding, even you can Google it, what will be the impact. So if US-Iran war starts, what is it? So accordingly, you can gauge, judge, make your own judgments. What is the severity of that impact? So that severity will let you know how much to do the risk mitigation. Because risk mitigation will always come at cost. It will not be free. You will have to sacrifice some of your margins, volumes, top line, bottom line, everything. But that risk mitigation, if that happens, then it will help you to a longer extent. Today, era is just like every now and then somebody is shooting at you and you have to dodge the bullets. This is the era for today, like we see in Star Wars. The same era is currently going on. So, your adaptability and agility and resilience is more important than your planning. Forecast accuracies and all those things. At one point of time, we always used to say that forecast accuracy is more important, that will help you plan better, manage your inventories, X, Y, Z, everything. Today, that is of no use because the more you are adaptable, whenever there is a change thrown to you, you have to quickly adjust, adapt to that change and make your way out. That is the current era going on. Use of AI will of course help you in doing that, but I don't know how many of you have noticed this, but this is going to be a feather in cap. How many of you have read this? This is the Strait of Malacca between Malaysia and Singapore, and US has already made ties with Indonesia to have a control over Strait of Malacca. Now this is the gateway for all east side supplies to the west, coming to India, to Middle East, and then going to Europe or US. Most of the traffic is going through Strait of Malacca. Of course, the alternatives, like for Red Sea, we had to come via Cape of Good Hope. There was a 2 weeks increase. So it was much of a delay. Here, it may not be that delay, but still, once you have the control on Strait of Malacca, then it is going to be a hot situation. Because then China wants to have a control, US has made ties with Indonesia, and on this side, there are Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So India has equal stake in that. There are all kind of trade agreements happening or already in place with Singapore, Korea, and most of the ASEAN countries. So if the Strait of Malacca is again going in war zone, then it is going to create much bigger problems, and if that happens before the Strait of Hormuz opens, then it's a catastrophic event for the world, particularly for India. Thank you.